ready? All right. Snap it.
We're rolling.
Snap it.
I'm going with one of these today.
I'm Hydration Nation.
I am too. I'm going with
I'll go.
Bacon in the sun, fishing for a week.
Screaming
That's
freedom.
all you were doing?
Yeah. Still trying to hydrate here.
I want you to insert
take a lime.
that eagle sound right here. So it just goes, ah.
Is that an eagle?
Yeah, screaming freedom. Like, I can't
Get
do
a
one.
projectile to come out of that.
Quite possibly the worst eagle I've ever heard. I'm not gonna lie to you. But we get the point, I guess.
That was pretty bad. Well, I wasn't prepared for it.
Oh man, we got a lot to talk about, huh? Been 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah,
It's our
2
first
Has it?
week off that we had.
Yeah, we took a week off because we were entirely out of pocket, off grid, northern Manitoba, on a northern pike walleye excursion.
It was a mini dropped with kids and an old man.
Yeah.
Is what it was. That was so fun, though.
Yeah, it started off shot out of a cannon.
Yeah.
It was the fishing ended up being good. It wasn't as good as normal, but it was good. But man, I don't know where you want to start with the whole ride. I mean, we take her from the top.
So where'd you go? Why'd you go?
We gotta
The whole
take
thing.
it from the top.
Set it up.
So we went to an outpost camp off of Silsby Lake in northeastern Manitoba. Also happens to be the very first place that Chris and I went off grid with our old man, like literally 30 years ago.
We figured it was over 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this place is so special because way back then, it was single hook. The guy that started it was an old guy that started it. His name was Kip. Kip was like, he actually is the closest person to Rock Bovan that I think I've ever met.
Yeah.
I mean, would that be
100%,
accurate?
yeah.
He had
Looking everything.
Oh yeah,
Now I got
looking
you.
everything. Had the long white hair.
Yep.
Had the beard. Was just a bushman. Would been out there. Had respect for the land, the animals, the game, all of it. And so when Kip got that concession way back in the '80s, he turned those lakes. There's actually 4 lakes total in his concession, couple thousand square miles. He turned those lakes into single hook barbless for fishing, and it's northern pike and walleye. That's what's there.
Back in
And
what decade was this?
This is the 80s.
So
was the
that's
80s.
before that was really a thing.
Yeah,
he did that early on.
Exactly. Yeah, before it was like a trend to do.
Yeah.
Like he was one of the first people, and really the guy was a pioneer of the North in general. Like when you look at that time, getting in and out of places wasn't like it is today. It was a hell of a lot harder back then. So he pioneered kind of the whole fly-in lodge type deal.
And ice road and coming in over the ice. That was a big thing for him.
Getting all his gear. And
It was
equipment.
really cool because I remember the bombardier that was there.
Yeah.
And I rode in shotgun with Kip on this thing. It's still on that runway. And Casey and I we got a picture of it. It's pretty sweet. Like it's still sitting there on the runway. I mean, it's an old war machine now, but both of us were like, that's it. That's the bombardier. It's a 30-year-old just
They don't
sitting there
get
on
rid of it.
tracks.
Once it's done.
But he drove that. I think he was one of those pioneers. He drove that from, a long way away in Thompson, somewhere in Manitoba, all the way through the bush in the wintertime over the ice to get stuff in. You know, he was one of those pioneers like that to get that stuff in there.
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
and they had no strip originally, so anything had to go in by floats would go in on like a beaver.
Yep.
I don't even think they used otters like, at that point up north. It was just
And then cut the
beavers.
strip.
Yeah, and so then they built a strip in the bush. That strip it was supposed to take a year. It took them 2.5.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you look at this strip, though, now you can land.
Cut by hand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all by hand.
Yeah.
All by hand cut and then stumped with dozers. So they came in and used dozers to remove the stumps. Again, dozers they brought
Wintertime.
in over the ice road.
Yes.
And we put it. I mean, a King Air landed on it. This is not a tiny strip.
Yeah. And we
This
could have
is
landed on it 4 times.
We
The
could have
King
landed
Air. How many?
jet.
How many people are in a King Air?
That was a 10. That was a King Air
I think you fit
1.
12 in a King Air.
Yeah.
So it's
jet
a great
propelled.
plane.
Yeah.
Turbo prop, twin
Twin
props.
prop King Air.
It's just so the place.
Caravan.
I mean, when you look at this place has been fished since then, and the fishing is still incredible to this day, and it speaks volumes to what was started back in the '80s for single hook barbless catch and release only.
Yeah.
And so you never know what to expect. We went there multiple times as kids growing up. I went there back in 2019. I took Ryder. I went with Ryder, Chuck, and Cody in 2019, and then here we are in 2025, and we're like, well, we need to all go together. And so that's what we did, and we weren't disappointed with the trip, that's for sure.
The trip was a trip. It was the memories that we have on this trip, and I think we talked about it while we were up there. Casey and I were talking about it. This one wasn't measured by inches of fish.
No,
this was measured by memories made. Because there's a couple of them. Like so, my daughter Kylie and Gunner. This was his first experience, and Gunner's 10. Kylie's 18. Right. So they're seeing it for the first time through their eyes, and it was just awesome to see. At the same time, it started off real crazy. Like it started off pretty wild. Mm-hmm. And my daughter was good, but it started when we left Winnipeg that morning. Yeah. It was a change of plans. And it's the bush, right? We're used to it. Like we've been through this 1,000 times. Like when the pilot walks in and says the runway's too muddy, so we're going to shuttle and then we're going to jump on a beaver. And it's like, Casey and I were like, all right, that's fine. Like we know but the other, the kids are like, what are we doing? How's this working? I've never been on that plane. What do you mean we're doing? So there's a lot of these questions. So it was amazing, but that's how it started. We were supposed to fly in a caravan right to the strip, and it rained and it was too muddy. So we had to fly to another lodge that was south of there that had a gravel strip, and then shuttle across, get into a beaver, and then make 3 flights in the beaver and drop everybody off. And everything was pretty seamless on that front. Yeah. The beaver was good. First flight for a couple of them, like in that kind of plane, sitting shotgun, just really
still
like
afloat, taking off up the water.
Experiencing that. That was really cool to see. But it wasn't until we got there, and I was second flight, he was first flight, and I get there and he's gone. Which traveling with us, there's a couple things that are standard. Mm-hmm. One, we travel in a group and we don't go until the last person's there. Yep. That drives me nuts when it's like, when there's some people that are like 3 legs ahead of where you're supposed to be, because danger can happen and then you don't have the right stuff. Right. The other thing is you always fly with your own bags, right? So you fly with the bags that you want and your high pry and the stuff. It's just us going in. It's just what we're used to doing. And there were some bags that were scattered because it was just being thrown in planes and we're trying to figure out what was what. So I was like, that's all right, fine. We'll all get there. Well, they took off because the guys like, get in a boat, they're gone. And it was kind of like, you got to go. Yeah. Right. So it wasn't like him saying, I'm leaving. It was like, you got to go. So they jumped in.
They're ready. You got to go.
And they're like, you got to go. So they get him in the boats. And, mind you, there's about an hour ride to where we're going. Mm-hmm. And so we land. Same thing. They're like, we got to go. I'm like, we don't have my dad. I'm like, we need the last person. I'm not leaving this dock until he's here. So they're like, okay, we'll wait. So then we waited. That plane came in and we're gone. The gentleman mentioned something. He said, there's a bear over there. He said, but don't worry, go fishing, and I'll come over with, it'll be fine. Yeah, that was not the case at this point. So I'll get us to the river, and then from there you can take it from there. So we come around the corner, and we're driving in the boat for Kylie's first time in the boat. I said to her, you're going to want to get your rain jacket out because, the wind's picking up and it's going to come over the top. She looks at me and goes, you have it, right? No, I don't have your rain jacket. Oh, it's in my closet. Okay, good. That's great. So number one, we don't have a raincoat, right? So of course, peel mine out. You take my rain jacket. It's fine. I've got kind of this thing. I have an instinct kind of underlayer. I was like, I'll just throw that on. It'll be fine. We're coming around. We're about 30 minutes into the trip, and I can see it. And I'm like, this is going to be very bad. This storm is coming.
You can see the wall.
I can see it coming, right? And she's facing me. And so I say to her, I go, just nonchalant, I go, Kai, do me a favor. Put your hood up, put your sunglasses on, zip your hood all the way to the top, and just look at me. And she's like, what are you talking about? I go, just look at me. Everything will be fine. And she's like, what? And then, whoom, because we were driving right into it. And it's coming at us, and I was trying to prepare, and we hit this storm. And, I mean, she was holding on to this seat. We couldn't see 5 feet. Yeah. I mean, it was, and I'm facing this way, no rain jacket. I am getting hammered in the face, and it hurts. Like, that's how much, I mean, we're trying to find our way, and all we got to do is get to this river, and then we can slow down and kind of pick our way through, and the rain isn't as bad.
So you're crossing a lake.
We're crossing,
How big's the lake?
We're going across Silsby to High Hill. What do you think Silsby is? I mean,
it's miles long and miles across.
Yeah, it's miles.
Okay, so you're a couple miles across.
Yeah, it's an hour ride all the way to the other side, right, with 40 horse, right? So we get to the other side, and the guides, we get into the river finally, and it's super shallow. Like, you can't go very fast. We get to the river, and the guy pulls up, dumps the bags off on the thing. He says, just walk over there. And I'm like, and I know where High Hill Camp is. And I'm like, no, you don't just walk over there. I'm like, he's like, well, that's where the boats are. Good luck with everything. And he's gone. So now I got to carry all this gear and get to these boats that are beached, basically, in this rainstorm that's coming at us at an aggressive rate. And so at this point, I'm pot committed. I'm so wet. I'm so like, it's over. I'm just in the water now. I'm just like boots on, pants. I'm like, it is what it is. We're going to get to safety. And all I keep thinking about is we're going to get to the cabin and we'll dry out. We'll build a fire. It'll be fine. That's where Casey was at. And that's when things started to get really interesting.
I was on the far end of the river when the storm hit. When I got there, there's supposed to be 5 boats. There was only 3. And 2 were missing.
Yes.
And one I could see a half mile that way getting beat to shit against the shore. The other one, we ended up.
It took 2.5 hours to find.
It took 2.5 hours to find.
From the storm, or had it been gone?
It had already been gone because there was a storm the night before.
Oh, okay.
The boats that were there, I did no less than 250 squats with a cooler full of water trying to bail the boat out. I mean, the boat was all the way up to the transom in the back, and it went up over the second bench seat. That's how much water was in the boat. The fuel lines were chewed from the bear. The seats were busted from the bear. I mean, everything was wrecked. So I'm standing there. I've got gear. I don't have any of my stuff because, like Chris said, it was normally we travel with our own shit, but because it was such a quick and furious deal, I didn't have my bags, but I had bags. So I'm like, whatever. I'm throwing all this shit in. And Cody, we're standing there, and Cody goes, "Did you just see that lightning?" And I'm like, I did. Just keep packing the boat because my boys are standing there.
Yeah.
I said, just keep putting shit in the boat. I'm dumping water out. I'm trying to get ready. I finally get the boat ready. I get it spun around. The wind has picked up so bad that I'm now trying to push this boat out, and I'm fighting a 40, 50 mile an hour wind.
We're talking 6-foot rollers.
Trying to get this boat
6
in the water.
foot on this lake.
I get it off the beach. I spin the boat around, but I'm in shallow water for about 300 yards. You have to have the motor trimmed way up. Well, when you have the motor trimmed way up and you're going into a 50 mile an hour breeze, it just keeps the boat just doing this. And I'm like, oh my, and my boys are sitting there, and then the wall comes, and that wall of rain was, I mean, it was stinging. I was going 2 miles an hour, and it was stinging my body. Yeah. That's how hard it was hitting.
One of the hardest rains I've been in a long time. I mean, I'm talking torrential.
There's a lot of those around the country last week.
Torrential, dude.
Well, and they need it up there because they got wildfires burning everywhere.
Yeah. Which also played into this trip. We'll get to that at the end.
I mean, it was just, I finally get towards the edge of the shallow, and I'm like, I gotta get moving here. I gotta get this boat moving. So I trim down, I drop the motor in, and I just start cranking it. And I mean, I'm hitting, and these waves are coming up and over. And my boys are sitting there, and I looked at Cody, and Cody grabbed both of my boys and like tucked them down like this in his lap. We had no rain gear, we had nothing.
Yep.
And I'm just head first eating these waves. It blew my hat off. I put my sunglasses down because I couldn't see without my sunglasses because you can't look into the rain.
But it was hurting your eyes because I did that same thing. And then it would pierce your eyes because you didn't have the protection.
I mean, it's been a long time since I've been in a storm like that. And I got 2 boys, no rain gear, and I'm not at the cabin yet. And lightning is starting to bounce. And I'm like, holy hell.
We're on the old family fishing trip.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Here we go, boys.
So I'm ripping across. I get into the little cove. I get into the bay, and I go and I look, and the dock, there's the cabins. The dock is completely demolished from the ice.
Yep.
The ice out this year shifted and wrecked the dock entirely. There is no dock. I'm like, oh my God, like what is happening?
Were they even there this year yet? Had they even been to this?
Yes,
yeah,
they had,
yeah.
And they didn't fix anything.
Yeah,
and so there's a lot to that. But anyway, so I'm like, screw it. I jam the nose of that boat right up in there. I grab my boys, I throw them on the dock, and I started actually filming. I have it on my phone. You look at the picture of me and Gunner going through the river. It's like 11:40 a.m. Beautiful, sunny. Like you look at it, you're like, what an awesome day. And then it's like 12:10 p.m. and you see the video, and I am absolutely. I had street clothes. I had my newbies on.
Yeah,
I still have my New Balance tennis shoes on.
Yeah,
because I didn't have my bag, and I am just drenched head to toe. My boys are sitting there; they're drenched head to toe, looking at me like, "What in the hell is happening right now?" And then I look at the cabin, and I'm like, "Oh, it's gonna get worse," because the cabin was annihilated. The bear, he didn't like play around.
No.
He busted the windows
He
out.
lived in it.
Busted the door.
It was a den.
I mean, it was, you walked inside.
It was his.
Oh yeah.
It was his. It's his
He was in
cabin.
there.
Yeah.
He was there for an extended period of time.
Wood stove blown out, raining right through the middle, the
off.
stacks coming right down through, and there's not a stitch of food left in there. Yeah. Flour, stuff I mean, it was the most destroyed cabin I've ever seen. It was unlivable when we walked in there the first time. There's like, you can't stay here. This is, I mean, you're better off just sleeping on the ground outside. This is untenable, like what this was.
Yeah.
It was rough, man. And the boys are like,
all the windows smashed out.
You know, the plan of like, we'll just get there, let's grab our gear, let's get ready and go fish would have been awesome had the weather stayed 75 degrees and been nice and sunny.
And the boats were there.
Yeah, and the boats existed. But I mean, it was just like one thing after another, just stacked up right there and it was like, holy hell. Now, I'm at the cabin with Cody and the boys, limited gear, boats are missing. I'm like, I got to find a way to get a boat back over there because two of the guys had jumped in to go look for boats. And so I'm like, I got to figure this all out because I had no idea where these guys were.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, all right, timing on the flight, timing on the boat ride. They are somewhere in the middle of Silsbee when this storm hit. Like, that's not a good place to be.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and the thing is once you get to the end of the river, the boats that he took, to your point, he needs to get them. Someone needs to bring them back because otherwise I wouldn't be able to get over there anyway, right? So it's like this whole shuttle process cluster of. I mean, it's a cluster, right? So now I'm coming up and I see him standing on the dock. And this is years of experience with Casey and I. There was not a word spoke. It was a look from both of us. And I just went, seriously? And he just looks at me and I was like, okay, well, we'll figure this out. And he's like, yep. There. And him and I are like, okay, we got to be calm for everybody that's here. But we also are in like, okay, this is now, we got our kids, we got our dad here, their grandfather. We're like, we have to figure this out. So I kind of, once I assessed the situation, I just kind of walked off and went over to the side and I was just sat down and I was like, I got to think through that. We have to think through this of how we're going to get this figured out, right? And my daughter just walks up to me. She's soaking wet from head to toe. She has like this look of like despair on it. She just comes in for a hug. And so I give her a hug and she's like, you got us, right? And I'm like, I got you. Like, trust me, it's only 10 o'clock in the morning. I was like, it doesn't get dark until 1 o'clock at night. I was like, by the time you lay your head down tonight, we got this. And she was like, okay. She's like, let's go. And she just leaned in and was like, let's figure it out. I'm in it too. If you're in it, I'm in it. I'm like, let's go. So then we started and Casey and I separated and it was like, all right, generator. Let's go figure out the generator. We got the generator working. Then it was the power wasn't working. So we ended up figuring that out, got the power working, got the water running, got the radio fired up, started to do, and it was just like one step at a time, right? And it was like, you want to talk about the wild teachings right out of the gate? These kids were thrown right into it. Like, we were going to hopefully ease them into like a shore lunch. Instead we're like, boom, here you go, kids. Here's a cabin. And by the way, look around. If you see the bear, someone yell because we don't have a weapon. So just let us know so we can take care of this bear. And at that point, I'd have wrestled the son of a bitch. The adrenaline was up through the roof, of just between anger and just like everything was like, but at the same time, I would say neither one of us blew a gasket. It was that wild calm of just like, we got this, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So
it was bad enough where like, listen, if it was me or like just me and you or the three of us, it sucks, but it is what it is. The kids is where I was like, all right, this is not cool. I got a 10. When I say he just turned 10.
Yeah.
He turned 10 like 8 days before we went out there. So it's one of those like, man, you got to try and stay as positive as humanly possible. So in the video, it's so funny because Lisa watched the video and I'm all like, what do we got here, boy? Look at the bear damage. This is awesome. And I'm trying to like be like happy and upbeat. And then there's a shot of Gunner and he's like, looking around, it's staring. So funny. But I'm trying to be, trying to be positive. I'm like, we got it, boys. We got this. This is gonna be great. Meanwhile, I'm thinking to myself, this is a shit show.
Yeah. So. I mean, how many times have you guys been up there?
A lot.
10?
Oh, yeah.
In your lives?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's never happened up there, right?
No.
This is just a random deal.
Kylie and I refer to it as Snicketsville, which was a series of misfortunate events. That Lemony Snickets thing. I was like, we're living in old Snicketsville because everything was a misfortunate event. It wasn't it wasn't anybody's one fault. I mean, yes, should it have been cleaned and should it have been already checked on? Absolutely. But it wasn't the fault of anybody. The bear destroyed everything, and that's just what I mean, there's nothing.
That's what happens up there.
Bear and weather.
He could have cleaned that the day before and everything. That bear could have been there that night and done the same thing. So it's not like we were holding it against anything. But there was equipment issues and there was things like that's what put me over. The housing, we're going to an outpost. I expect it to be an outpost, right? But it was taking the time to have to fix the gear. I mean, every morning at 6 o'clock, bailing out the sinking boats and doing the things like that. That was the part that was like, all right, this is annoying, but we made it work. We got everything cleaned. We got everything dialed in. And we found, we got clean sheets on the beds. We got everything where we needed it to be, where it was comfortable. And the kids were like, okay, we can do this. And then from there, it was like, okay, we got this. You know what I mean? Like it did it, but it took probably 6 or 7 hours.
Oh, yeah.
To get everything to where it needed to go.
Day one was
one was a shock.
Wherever your adventure takes you, count on Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's to make it memorable. From the timberline to the campsites to the lake and the range, get your family outfitted with the right gear. With premium brands like Worldwide Sportsman, Ascend, Instinct, Redhead, and Natural Reflections, they've got the apparel and the gear to make it the best adventure ever. Stop by today for a one-of-a-kind shopping experience in-store or online at BassPro.com and Cabela's.com. See for yourself at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's stores. Your adventure starts here. All right, let's talk about beer for a second. You ever notice there's a big difference between Busch Light drinkers and other beer drinkers? I like to say we live on the wild side. A guy with a Busch Light in his hand, he's a man of the people. He's out there in the wild every day. He's in the trenches smashing bushies with a smile on his face. You know why? Because he doesn't care. He's not looking for a soulmate. He just needs something to wash that damn jerky down. And he's got himself a 12-pack of Freedom in a can. And when that can gets cracked, it's like opening a door to a whole different world. It's just a vibe. And if you haven't felt it, you should. So go grab yourself a case of bushies, give them a rip, and take a walk on the wild side. You've got things that matter. Memories, heirlooms, documents, firearms. And we all know that life is unpredictable. At Winchester Safes, they make sure life's unpredictable moments don't take those things from you. They use state-of-the-art methods that refuse to sacrifice quality. They put everything they have into their products, offering proven protection and peace of mind. There's only one safe company worthy of the title, the American Legend, and that's Winchester Safes. Follow at Winchester Safes or learn more on winchestersafes.com.
I fished that night. I had to. I was like, I gotta just, how.
Yeah, but you went out.
I gotta go.
I left
like
at 9 o'clock.
9:30.
Yeah.
I left the dock.
Yeah.
Well, the remnants of the dock. I left at 9:30. I'm like, I know where to go. I'm gonna go find some walleye, and I went and. We just
slayed the walleye.
Absolutely pummeled the walleye, right?
Yep.
And I did for like an hour and a half. And I was like, okay.
Needed that.
Yeah, that had to happen. Yeah. All right, now let's go. So I brought a bunch of walleye back and we cut them up for the next day, get a little jump start on shore lunch.
I brought 2 bottles of wine with me. I opened the bottle of wine and drank it out of the bottle with no cup. I literally sat there. He brought the walleye in and we're filleting under the lights, and he's filleting and I'm just drinking a bottle right out of the bottle and I'm just like, and I'm throwing like dead, the scraps in the bucket.
Like old Boone's Farm.
No, it was no. So that was
Snow Creek Berry.
Yes,
that's how it started.
Such a good
so flavor. it was we got through that day. Once we got through that day, you're out there the whole time, right?
Yeah.
And that's when the real fun started for us.
And listen, the fishing is, it's worth it.
It's still world class.
It is world class.
World
I cannot
class.
stress that enough. This year wasn't as good as past years. I think a lot of it had to do with the weather, just being so. We
Back-to-back storms that.
We never had like consistent high pressure. Mm-hmm. We didn't have any real consistent. We had one nice day.
Yeah.
But then, it was shit leading up to it. Then it got real nice, and then immediately went back to shit.
Yeah.
And it was like nice for 2-3 hours, then it turned to hell. Then it'd go nice for an hour or two, then it would turn back to hell. So just that, and
consistent.
No. And when you're hunting, it's the same way. The animals are just kind of like,
I'll wait this out a little bit.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah. The very last night, not to jump too far ahead, but the very last night we got on a weed bed and the sun got down far enough at an angle, and that weed bed turned on.
We caught 30 fish in 15 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like someone hit a light switch.
And-
you couldn't put the lure in the water without catching
30
big
fish
ones.
over 32 inches.
42 and a half, 40, 38. I mean, just like, one after another. And it was like, this is what it normally is like. And that was on that last day. After a couple of days of clear weather.
I mean, I can ask this later, but the lure of the week, there's always a lure that week it's like for pike or whatever. Like, God, they were really on the, Daredevil, or they were really on top water at X. Like, what was the lure that like was the go-to to catch big pike that week?
With where the fish are right now, they're in like 8 to 12 feet in weed beds. And so top water, like buzz baits and stuff.
No go.
Not really. I mean, you can find smaller fish up in the shallows, but 1 ounce Daredevil spoons. I mean,
You just can't beat it.
you really can't. 1 ounce. I've been fishing forever with 1 ounce Daredevils. And you see a lot of guys using like sluggos and these big, just husky jerks and all that stuff. Dude, a 1 ounce Daredevil up there is deadly.
And color-wise, it was hammered brass with chartreuse and orange. They're pretty. It's like, if there's sun, it's one color. If there's the kind of, if it's overcast, it's the
White,
green
right,
and white on white with orange on it. I mean, any of that stuff like that. And it was really just flipping back and forth between them. I mean, I used a solid hammered brass that was for 2 days, and I never took it off. Yeah. And then for walleye, those countdowns, the blue Rapalas, the countdowns, you just give it a 5, 6, and it goes down about that distance. I mean, the blue, and then they have the Wonder Bread one that's kind of like that Wonder Bread color.
Yep.
White with dots on it. That was it. I mean, really, if you had that and you had enough of them, I mean, you could catch anything in that lake. And it was just a consistent, like, boom. I had a walleye rig, so I had that Prodigy walleye rod, the Cabela's Prodigy, which I think is a fantastic rod. The first time I fished with it before, I was super impressed with it. Grab that rod, and I had that rigged for walleye. So it'd be like someone would catch a walleye on a spoon, and I'd be like, ooh, and I'd grab that one, and it would just be like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, just like that. I mean, it was like, because they school up.
Well, and a lot of times, you're finding big pike in with walleye, like all together.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're feeding on something.
It's so hard to explain, because this place, when you think about it, so like, let's say the first time we were there, I'd have been like 12 years old, so it'd have been like 95. Would have been the first time we're there. And so you go from 95 to 2025, and you say maybe 40 people a year have fished that lake.
Right. Yeah.
And so, in 30 years, 40 people a year fish that water for 5 days at a time. So, I mean, the pressure's virtually non-existent.
Oh, I'd love to go ice fish that.
I couldn't imagine. It's all catch and release, except for shore lunch.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, so you don't have to do any of the like fancy tricks and lures and stuff that people do on big, highly pressured waters around here, just because it doesn't exist. The fish, when they see a lure, chances are it's the first time they've ever seen one.
So I got a story talking about walleye. This is typical me story on this situation. So we go out at night, and I got Kylie in my boat, and Louie is filming. And we zip out there, and I think it was the second night. And my dad and I think Ryder and Gunner were in one, Ryder was in a boat, and Chucko and Cody. Anyway, we go back, and there was a spot where it didn't matter. You went there, you caught walleye, right? Like this spot against this shelf. It was like, get there, catch walleye. Well, we were like, let's go over there, catch some walleye for tomorrow. We'll flay them. It'll save us time tomorrow for shore lunch. We can just start cooking shore lunch. So we go over there, and we can start slaying the walleye. Kylie's first walleye, she catches 21 and a half, 22. I mean, these are solid walleye.
Oh, yeah.
Got a bunch in the teens. We ended up catching probably 15, 16 walleye. Well, we only kept enough that we needed for shore lunch, right? I think we kept 4 fish maybe, and then Dad had 2 in his boat or something. So we're slaying the walleye. Well, I got a live stringer, right? So I take the live stringer, and I'm putting these walleye in the live stringer, and I put it on the side of the boat, and they're floating, keep them as fresh as possible until we can get them filleted. So Kylie casts out, and she catches a northern, like on this on one of those countdowns. She catches a northern. She's bringing it in, and I'm starting to drift close to shore, right? So I'm like, okay. So I go, that's all right, just bring it up. And I'm sitting at the back of the boat, so I hit the electric start on the motor, and I hit it, and I just put it in reverse to just back out, and it just goes, and it stops.
Yep.
And I go, fuck, I know what that is. I'm like, son of a bitch. So I don't say anything. And I'm like, we probably won't hit shore, but I just backed up enough where I was in the current a little bit. So I put it in neutral, shut the engine off. And Kylie brings up the northern. Well, this northern literally ate this thing down. I'm talking, it was in his tail.
Yeah.
I mean, it just inhaled this thing. So I got everything from the spreaders to the hookouts to I can't get this. I'm trying and everything, all those Rappalas, I bend the barbs down on all of them, right? So there's nothing. And I'm trying to get this thing out. And
so you're going to eat this northern.
So I'm going to eat this northern. Yeah. So after about 5 minutes of this, I'm like, I know I have a prop full of walleye back here. I know that's what happened.
A prop full?
A prop full. An entire prop full. I'm like, and I also know that I can't get this lure out, right? So I finally get the lure out and I take the fish and I kind of try to revive it a little bit and I drop it in because I'm like, we'll see if it goes. I turn around and I pull the motor up. And when I pull the motor up, this is the image that I have of the.
Oh, God.
This is the walleye, and we'll show it.
Prop full of walleye.
This is a prop full of walleye, and they're spread out. Their tails are spread out like an actual prop.
I said that's gonna be my next mount.
Yeah,
Like if I ever mount walleye,
just
that's
a walleye.
Put it on the outboard motor.
around a
There's
prop.
6 20+ inch walleye wrapped in a prop, right? So I get on the back of this motor and I shimmy out, and I'm going either I'm going all the way in. And I'm like, I got to figure this out. And I look at this, and you know when you I'm looking at it, and I go, you get one opportunity before it turns into something real bad.
Mess.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. One opportunity. So I'm studying it hard to figure out which side am I going to pull to see. Anyway, I make a call, and I grab onto this thing, and I kind of shimmy it a little bit, and I pull it, and when I pull it, it goes loose, and I'm like, oh my, and I ended up being able to unwrap it and then keep the walleye without having to lose the walleye off the end of the stringer.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I got the walleye. I'm so excited. I take the walleye, come back, I tie them up shorter this time, much shorter. They're off the side. So now I turn my attention to this pike that is now floating in the lake. So I turn it around, I start the engine, I go, hey Louie, grab that pike, we'll just fillet it, we'll eat it. He's like, got it. So I pull up like this. Louis reaches in, misses it. He misses it the second time, and I go, where is it? He goes, went under the boat. I turn around and I go, never mind. Smoked it, sushi. I mean, just literally it went right through the prop. And I was like, and we're done with that pike. I was like, anybody see it? And there's just it's just gone. Yeah. It's just completely shredded. And I'm like, so I had the walleye wrapped around the prop, and I completely sushied a northern pike in a matter of 8 minutes. I just sat down and Kylie they're cracking up looking at me, and I'm just like, yeah, this is typical shit.
Hard on fish, hard on shit.
Hard on shit.
Everything.
Hard on shit.
Hard on shit.
Unfortunate events.
Yeah.
Just kept stacking up.
Yeah.
We had some really good ones though. That first shore lunch was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it from a kid's perspective. So in one day you catch your first 40-inch northern.
Yeah.
Then you catch your first walleye. Then you go to the shore and you're eating your first shore lunch in the middle of nowhere. And then as we're sitting there, I'll never forget it, we're sitting there eating, and I just hear Kylie go, oh, hey, there's a moose. And we all look up, and there's a cow moose just walks out, comes across off the island, walks right through the rocks, wading through the water, walks across to the other island. Everybody's like, what's happening? Bald eagles are flying around. Loons are calling in the bay. Yeah. I mean, it's just, and then you're like,
we're here.
At that moment, I think all of us are like, okay,
at least that cooperated.
Yes,
we're good.
This is what we're here for.
Yeah.
This is what it's all about.
And that shore lunch, man. Oh my God, there's nothing like it.
So for people who haven't had a shore lunch, that don't know what a shore lunch is, go through the process of a good shore lunch. What makes a good shore lunch?
Casey and I we have a system. Yeah. And I will say this. That first shore lunch, I looked at him and I said, how many questions have you fielded in the last 15 minutes? I promise you that the questions coming up, can I cut the potatoes like this? Can I use this as a thing? Can you guys put that? I mean, we had 100 questions, and him and I were just kind of looking at each other, and we were cutting, flaying, building fire. I was like, I'll do this, you do that, and we got it dialed. But I mean, the questions, we were dying because of the amount of questions.
Oh yeah.
So what do you need material wise?
So there's an old shore lunch spot tucked way back in this bay. It's been there for 30 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the nice part about being tucked in the bay is you're out of the weather no matter what. So if it's windy, it's always going to be flat back in there because it's just this long little skinny keyhole. So we went back in there. It's pretty shallow getting back in there. Fished the whole way in. Kids are catching pike, catching walleye right at the entrance to the bay.
Yeah.
So we get back in there, and basically what they did 30 years ago is they took a 50-gallon drum and they cut it in half, and then they popped holes into the side and popped some holes into the top and create like a bush stove. And so you get out there on the rock, because it's all Precambrian shield, so you got the big Canadian rocks. You get out onto those points where those rocks are, and you set that stove, and then you just build a fire inside of it,
underneath it,
especially because it's dry as hell.
You can't be too close to the woods. You got to be on the rock,
too tight,
close to water. Otherwise, it's a forest fire.
So you build a fire, and then we always have a shore lunch kit with us, so I keep it in a cooler all the time. And so basically, you got the pots and pans that you need, and all the silverware, and breading and batter, and Tabasco or Frank's Red Hot, and all the condiments and everything. And catch fresh fish, and then go there and cut them up, batter them up, and cook them right there on the shore.
Oil or butter? What do you guys prefer?
I'm a both guy.
Yeah.
I go a little bit of oil and butter. I go a little both.
Yeah. And you got to do the taters first.
Yep.
So slice the taters.
Yep.
We did it both ways. So we sliced the taters like chips.
Yep.
Real
faster.
thin,
Yeah.
or we did them where you slice them like
fries.
chips and then fry them, so that you can cut them up in long strips and do French fries. And we did it both ways, just throughout the time.
Seasoning on those,
and then when they come out of that oil, man, you hit them with that seasoned salt on there, and
so
it's just
good.
like there's just a big old pan of fries right there. So,
Traditional is usually you got the potatoes and onions.
Yep.
And then cream corn, niblet corn, and beans, and then fish.
and you cook those right in the can. So you just pop the top on the lid, just leave it on there so you can
just
grab
set
it,
'em on the fire.
and then just set them right on the top of the fire and let them cook. And then he was breading up fish and getting all the pin bones and stuff out. Those walleye, I mean, they're once you get
Takes
them,
a hot second,
yeah, you get the
but
ribs and the pin bone out, you're good. But the first day, all we had was walleye. So they hadn't tried northern pike yet, but when they did, Kylie said she actually liked northern better. I mean, because it's delicious up there. It's more chicken.
I've heard
colder
that.
water. It's different.
Yes,
It's
I've
just
heard
different.
that so many times. Most guys, you say down here in the lower 48, you're like, you eat pike, and they're like, oh my God, they're a mudfish. Like, they're disgusting. And they are. I've tried them down here. They're terrible.
In the summer, in the winter through the ice, it's a different deal.
Yeah.
If it's clean water.
I've never tried them. I've always tried them summer down here, and they're terrible.
You
But
can
up
taste
there,
the mud, yeah.
up there, they're the cleanest thing, and it's incredible.
Yeah, they're delicious.
It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
Guys used to do it all the time when they'd come up there. We'd go bear hunting and stuff. We'd be like, we're going to cook pike. And guys, well, I'm not eating pike. I came here to eat walleye. You're like, yeah, just give it a second here, buddy.
Just wait.
And then they eat that first one. This is great walleye. You're like, it's not walleye. That's pike. And they're like, what?
Yeah.
So it's
Good.
cool.
It's nice, thick, steaks you can cut. I mean, there's all sorts of ways you can do it.
Yep.
But so good.
long
Get
as
the
you
Y
get the
bones
Y
out.
bones, yeah.
You're good to go.
Yep, get the Y bones.
I think the kids got a newfound sense of respect for that too, right? Because they caught it and they ate it.
They provided.
And,
right there.
It was like I told Kylie, I said, "There's not an American restaurant in the world you can go have fish with a side of bear danger. You're constantly looking around." But at the same time, that's part of it, right?
Yeah,
is like a moose walks out and all the things that we talked about. I mean, it's just, I think, and then to see them all sitting on a rock. So you had my dad sitting on a rock, all the grandkids sitting around him, and they're all laughing hysterically because he's probably ripping on somebody at this point and one-lining somebody to death at this point. And so they're laughing hysterically, and him and I are, sweating beyond belief trying to get all this stuff done. And then when you're done, just be able to sit back and sit there and have a cold beer and be like, that was amazing.
Yep.
You're full. But it's a process. I mean, it's a 2-hour lunch. It's not just like, you don't just zip in, zip out.
That's
the point of
great.
it.
That's
You
the
take
point.
that, you take that time and you take a break and
Cast
you just
off the rocks.
Oh,
I
my
mean,
God,
it's just.
Ryder's going to cast off at anything. If there's water in front of him, he's going to cast. It doesn't matter where he's standing. That boy is going to cast.
His spoons
Constantly.
are still wet right now. Like,
constantly.
he is a animal.
Yeah.
When it comes to fishing.
Oh, it was cool.
And I know where he gets it.
Yeah.
So I can't fault him for it.
It was cool. It was cool to see the progression too. So you got these ones that haven't done it, Kylie especially on that front. Her first cast is 4 feet trying to figure out what to do to then standing up. 4 days later, she's standing up in the front, just ripping cast and understands what it means to stop it and jig right at the front. Oh, there's one, flip the bail going. It just became a natural thing.
Yeah.
And I think she was even
Pretty impressed.
yeah,
with
she was
herself,
pretty I got this now. And then it became like a casting competition and she was super into it. And so, I mean, just to see that. It was 4 days.
Yep.
4 days of just learning this stuff for the first time. And now she can fish northern wherever she wants,
Yep.
you know, and we're back and she's like, where can we go fishing? Yesterday, I text Casey, I go, hey, let's hit the smallmouth on the Pine because now she's addicted.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
and that alone was worth it. I mean,
For sure.
for that, she never knew she could do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, despite all the bear and the danger and the weather and the bullshit that went on, it's like they get that bug and then it never goes away.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
from that perspective, it was sweet. I mean, fishing was great. And in typical fashion, though, leaving was not smooth.
No.
So-
Well, before that, we have one more good one.
One more event.
One more good one. So we end up 3 days here, and then we end up making the move because the bear came back, and he was back, and he was
Wild Chuck.
Chuck was sleeping. Casey and I
Just
pulled
20
in.
feet from him.
Casey
with no
and
door.
I decide that we're going to make a run with Ryder, Gunner, and Kai. We're going to run to the far end. We hadn't been to and it's a run. It's a 30-minute run, 25-minute run, 30-minute run straight to the far end. And we left at 9 o'clock to go do that because it doesn't get dark until, you know. So we got about 2.5 hours before we have to start making our way back. We're like, we can do it. So we make a run down there. Kylie ends up catching her first 40.5 inch, and it's a giant. And I'll tell you what, she had the whitetail shakes.
Oh.
Casey and I were like, look at that. When she ended up getting it in,
Yeah.
it comes up to the net. It comes up to the cradle that I have. I put it in the cradle. It was like the cradle was covered in a non-nutritional cereal varnish. The fucking thing shot out, phew, right out of the cradle. It shoots out of the cradle, and I'm like, it's not going to be because of me. And I've got my wools on, and I literally both hands up to my elbows, and I grab a hold of the neck on this fish and pull it into water, and he's dying because he's in the other boat right there looking at me. And I get it up there. I'm sweating, and I'm like, and it falls in the boat. It's a 40.5 inch northern.
Yeah.
She turns around, I go, okay, get this thing, and I stand up, I look at her, and literally her legs start going pop, 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 pop.
Yeah.
And she's like, what is happening? And I was like, it's adrenaline, and it's like, it's there, and she's like, this is unbelievable, and she's just shaking, the whole time.
Northern's such a great fish to, go after. I mean, you can fish northerns around here. I mean, there's big northerns. You
Yeah.
can catch 40s. Yeah. But there's a lot of guys, a lot of people that have never caught a 40 inch will never catch a 40 inch pike.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's an ancient animal.
Yep.
That's a 12-year-old.
Up there because of the water. That's
Slower
a 20
grow.
That's a 20-year-old fish.
Yeah, that's a slower grower.
It's a 20-year-old fish.
When we pulled into this bay, there was a beaver dam off to the right side, and I saw it, and we kind of fished. We got into walleye in like 3 foot of water. So we were catching walleye
Moved
right
up
there.
in there, yeah.
I said to Kylie, I go, I've caught a lot of big northerns in front of a beaver dam. So I'm looking at where to fish, and this is where Kylie starts going in a different direction.
God, yeah.
She started, her thoughts, we asked her afterwards, what were you thinking? She goes, honestly, I was thinking about what I know about beavers, what the scientific name was, and also the fact that they let their buddies in the wintertime into their dens. And then wham, that fish hit. So she was thinking about beavers in a completely different thing, and the fish hit. And when I heard that tail, there's this distinct tail swoosh. And I was
Deep,
like, it's that deep. And I was like, Kai, you got a big one on. And then it ran her. But I mean, her mind was so far.
It wasn't on like, this fish is going to hit any minute.
No.
It wasn't like structurally, this is where it's
I like
It was like,
beavers.
oh, they're cool. They let their buddies in.
Yeah,
in
she's
the
like,
cold.
she kept going, they let their buddies in the dens. I like beavers. And the thing took off on her. For some of us, the hunt never stops. Grizzly understands that more than most. Rugged, reliable, and built to never back down. Whether you're on the trail, by the water, or deep in the dark timber, Grizzly is by your side. Tough enough to take on the wild and ready for whatever you can throw. Grizzly is committed to products that never let you down. Always on the hunt with Grizzly.
Out here in the wild, precision isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity. Leupold Optics is built on the foundation of American craftsmanship, where every features function first. For over a century now, they've combined dedication and technology with a relentless put-it-to-the-test attitude, creating optics that stand up when everything else stands down. When it matters most, you need the best. That's what you get with Leupold Optics. While other companies out there warranty failure, Leupold guarantees performance for life.
Some call it out on the trail. I like to call it the road less traveled. The kind of place where the going gets tough. That's where Tracker Off-Road comes in. Made for those who won't back down. Tracker Off-Road delivers the hardest working machines with the greatest capability at the strongest value in the industry. Built by those who know what it takes and designed for those who don't turn back. Tracker is dedicated to delivering machines that let you get the most out of your day and your dollar. Ready to take on your next adventure? Go with Tracker Off-Road.
Every shot counts. And when it's time to make it count, you want the best. Winchester Ammunition has built its legacy on a commitment to innovation by continuously pushing what's possible. In the heartland of America, the American legend crafts ammunition that's purpose-built, reliable, accurate, and ready to perform no matter how harsh the conditions. Whether you're hunting or shooting for sport, Winchester will be there.
So anyway, we get back that night and we're all excited and we're high on all the stuff. We're like and we get back and of course Chuck, he's sleeping in the cabin. We get up, Casey walks in and we're like, the bear's on the porch because he's drinking the oil from the canola oil out of the shore lunch box. He literally emptied it right on the porch.
Son of a gun.
So Chuck's sleeping right there. The door doesn't work because the door's busted.
Yeah.
And Chuck's 20 feet away.
Yeah.
Just
out cold. Just suck hole open, out cold. So at that point, we pulled shoot, right? We were like, okay, we've done this. We've got the experience. Let's head back to the main lodge. And the guy was accommodating enough to say, bring the kids over here. There's nobody in the main lodge. And by the way, that was beautiful. I mean, Silsby's a beautiful lodge. I mean, it's an amazing cabin. So they sent the people over the next morning. We make the run over there and we get everything. And we're like, now we're fishing Silsby. Yeah. We're good up until the wind started again. So Casey's in this boat and he's right next to me and we're rolling. And all of a sudden his boat, you're going the same speed. We both have 40s. And all of a sudden he goes, whoa, and he drops back like real far. And I'm like, what happened? So I turn the boat around, come back, and he's like, it just stopped. So he gets it going again, boom, and stops again. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, what? So we have radios in the boat. This guy up here is not answering. So I'm like, I got to go figure this out. We'll get somebody to send back to tow. So, okay, this guy comes back, and Jason, and he starts towing Casey. We come around that corner, and the wind started again. This time, it was double the wind that was. It wasn't raining. Yeah. But the wind, I've been up there a long time. I have never had the shakes, the stress adrenaline shakes. Because I had Ryder and Kylie in my boat.
Yeah, I ditched the kids when the boat broke down. I ditched the kids. Yeah, I'm like, take these kids, put them in your boat. The fuel line.
I'll be fine.
The fuel line got cut.
Tell Lisa I love her.
Yeah, the fuel line got cut in his boat because of the way the seat was. It cut the fuel line, so he doesn't have fuel.
I'm dead in the water. Yeah. I got nothing. I'm like, oh my god.
And I'm telling you what, man. I thought we were going to flip. Yeah. I tied the kids with the rope to the boat. I tied them to the side of the boat, but just in case I looked up and because the waves were coming in so hard that I was like, I can't let you guys look up and then one of you's gone. So I was literally tying them to it with their life vests.
And you can't sit there and take the waves.
No, you have to go, but you have to know what you're doing, man. You have to be able to cut those things at a certain angle because if you're the other way, you're going to go backwards. And so it was just constantly doing this. So you're standing up and you're just maneuvering. And it was like when we got to finally the other side where you could get out of the wind. I'm not kidding you. I was the same way. I was shaking, not from fear, but from just I was so tense that I was like, I gotta let go. But again, the kids, they thought it was a boat ride. Yeah. They're laughing at each other. They're and they think it's. Good, but they didn't realize we were in some serious shit, man.
It's funny. It's a different fear though than when we're out there.
If it was the two of us, I wouldn't even have thought about it. I just sat down and drove, and we'd have got wet. But I was like, and you have those kids with you, man. More
responsibility. Yeah,
it's a whole different mindset.
It was.
The kids.
They're making it. I don't care what happens to me, but they're making it out of there. And it was there's a couple times where I was like, man, as long as I get them out of here, we're going to be all right.
Did you have jackets in there?
Jackets. I was a bucking bronco in that boat because what you can't do when you have no motor is steer. You can at least steer, but you can't throttle up, you can't throttle back, you can't ride the wave. You're just in it. And so
You look like John Sparrow. You were on, or what is Jack Sparrow?
Sparrow.
You were on that boat. He had to look over, and he's just
Lieutenant
bouncing.
Dan on the bow.
Oh, he was bouncing.
I lit a Black and Mild. I had a little Black and Mild with
Yeah.
me. I got the old in the t-shirt, got her lit up, and I thought, well, let's just enjoy this while we go across here.
Yeah.
And just got my ass beat.
I look over, he's got this Black and Mild, and he's sitting like this.
Was he
and
towing you
at some
time?
point?
Yeah.
But the problem, like,
he's flying up like this and flying back down, but he's just got the cigar in his hand, and he's just riding out this wave the whole time.
he's towing me, but with the way those waves were and the way it all worked is like he would cut the wave, and then his boat would go down, and my boat was going up. And then the rope would catch, and it would pull me into the wave,
yeah.
and the wave would come up over the bow. And I mean, that's just it. There was no other way to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like that was literally our only. It was either that or just cut the boat loose and
Yeah.
me get in his boat and
Yeah.
let it go.
Go get it later, but
Who the hell
go get it
knows
later.
where?
Yeah.
So I mean, it was wild. It was fun as hell, but I got my ass beat.
So that led us to a couple days of amazing fishing, which we
Yep.
did. We had great shore lunches. We finished strong with the group. I mean, we had a great 2 days out there. It was just beautiful. Caught so much fish. It was great. And then right at the end, a series of misfortunate events again. We get ready to leave. We get over to the runway. And once you get over the runway, you get on a school bus, and the school bus takes you up to the runway. There's a plane up there, and there was two people in camp that got on there with a bunch of gear and everything, and then the plane takes off. Our plane's coming in 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Maybe 10 minutes?
Yeah. They were
So
10 they radioed.
They radioed 10 minutes out. So we're sitting on the runway, and in that 10 minutes, the thickest smoke you couldn't see more than 10 feet in front of us. The wind shifted, and there was a fire to the north. Mm-hmm. It blew in smoke. You would have thought that everything around us was on fire. That's how much smoke. I mean, it was so thick. The King Air flies over top, and we're looking, and you can't even see him. You can hear him. He's real low, but you can't even see him. That's how thick it is. So all of a sudden you hear, and we're headed back to it, and we're like,
he radioed and said
great.
he was on the downwind, and I'm like, I'm looking and I hear, I'm like, he's right there.
Where is it?
Yeah, I mean,
He couldn't
it was-
see the runway.
Oh, yeah.
So
it was thick.
all the next thing you heard was gone that way.
Reroute
We're
to
like,
Thompson.
oh, here we go again. So, but that's again, having been in the bush as many times we have, you book a late flight out of wherever it is, so you have time to get out of the bush. So back to the cabins we went. Smoke cleared in about an hour and a half, maybe
2 hours.
2 hours, and then wind shifted again, and you can start to see the other side. And then, man, once that happened, he made a call, and we turned and burned because it was switching again.
Yep.
So it was like he came in, he hit that runway hot, and it was like, let's go. And then we
Shit
jumped
in,
in,
let's
and
go, yeah.
once we hit the air, we got up above the smoke. Just looking down, you could just see it. It was like, man, this is wild. The fire. It was huge fire to the north.
They're everywhere up there right now. Even on the flight in, when we were flying in the caravan, we went up to 7,500 trying to get out of it because it was IFR. We got up to 7,500. We still weren't out of it.
No.
Yeah.
7,500 feet up, there's still smoke.
Yeah.
And so he's like, well, guess we got to get under it. And so all the way back down, we went 280 miles at 1,500 feet.
Yeah, we were flying about 1,500 feet. Just to stay
Dang.
under the
Ripping
smoke.
140 knots.
It's like in a helio.
It was sweet, dude. Yeah, it was
Amazing
we saw
ride in,
Big
'cause
bull
it-
moose on the way in,
yeah.
bunch of bears, and
Yeah.
like it was. So that experience was cool. You know,
Yeah.
and the kids had no idea about the smoke. Like
No.
they didn't know it was. We were trying to pick our way around and
Yeah.
all that stuff. You know, so yeah, it was great, man. Overall, I mean, listen, it had its ups and downs. It had its challenges, but
It made the trip.
Yep.
that's how it goes.
It really did.
No different than us sleeping in a hangar for 5 days one time.
No,
it's
man.
like
Not at
that's
all.
what you sign up for.
Yep.
And
To
just
me, that's
asking-
some of the favorite thing. Like we said at the beginning,
Yep.
I used to measure these trips in inches of pike and numbers of pike and
Yep.
numbers of walleye. This trip, I don't even care. I measure it
Yeah.
in the stories and the memories and the laughter and the shit that happened and you know.
The last day, Kylie said, Dad, I'm outfishing you 13-3 right now. I said, Kylie, I don't care if you outfish me 27-0. I'm sitting in a boat.
Yeah.
I'm taking your fish off the hook. I'm steering this thing. I said, I don't care if I cast. I really don't. I'm having the greatest time, and I have no desire to even catch one right now because I'm just watching you, slay the fish,
Yeah.
and I think that was what it's about. And then to have everybody there, that's the first time, and we got it locked in. We got a film coming.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, this thing is going to be amazing because
That's
we
gonna be
shot it all, and that's the cool part about what we do is it's documented forever. And these kids are locked in at that time. That is 10-year-old Gunner, 18-year-old Kylie, first time ever in the bush, and it's forever going to be locked in and film. And that's just something that they'll have that we can watch and see. And they're there with their grandfather the whole time, who started kind of taking us up there at the very first beginning of all of it. So for him, it was a full circle. And yeah, I think it was just amazing, man.
Ryder said when we had to go back with the smoke, when we had to go back to to the camp, this is where he's at with fishing. Everything was packed away, obviously, because we were supposed to fly out. So we jump in the boat to go back to camp because of the smoke, and Ryder goes, "Oh, I'm fake casting in my head." He's like, "Can I unpack her?" I'm like, "Don't even think about it. Everything is packed." Like, the answer to that question is no. Meanwhile, in my head, I'm like, "I bet you I could unpack a rod right now because we got a couple hours."
Yeah, a couple hours. We could fish.
So,
Louis fell asleep on the. Did he tell you this? He fell asleep on the. I think it was on the King Air. Yeah, he fell asleep on the King Air, and he woke up setting the hook. He went like this, and he was sleeping. And he goes, "Huh!" And he set the hook like this, and he looked over and he goes, "Did anybody see that?" Like, he goes, "I think I just set the hook in my sleep." Because I was like, "You did just set the hook in your sleep." He was like, "Man, I was dreaming that I was on the boat. I caught a fish." I'm like, "That's so funny." He literally set the hook.
It was
in
cool.
his sleep.
It was really cool to see it through his eyes a little bit too.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because his birthday was the day we went in. He's 24. And he'd never been up there and never experienced anything like that. And he kept going like, "What? Like, this place is real? Like, places like this still exist in the world?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, we're sitting in the middle of it right now.
Yeah.
Like, this is where it's at." So that was cool. Really
All
cool.
around, man.
Awesome, man.
Amazing trip. Amazing trip. Anybody looking to go do a northern, or a fishing trip, Ontario's one thing. Gotta go north. You gotta
get
go
away from the people.
It's affordable. I mean, these lodges like that. I mean, this is a 2,500. This isn't like this isn't an 8,000-10,000. This is an affordable trip for someone to go in and have a good time and just experience it. And if you never have, I highly suggest that you do it.
Yeah,
because it's a game changer.
Yeah.
Once you do it, you're going to want to do it every year. That's how amazing it is.
Well, there's some other things we're looking at too in terms of maybe putting like a week together to go up and get a bunch of people and just go do the trip and fish and screw around and have fun, and then maybe even some other opportunities in the long term that we're trying to figure out right now.
Oh yeah, that's coming. Of course, Casey and I are going to not go there and not come up with some business opportunity and fun things that we could do. And how we were going to, we were sitting around the campfire going, "You know what we ought to do?" And then it was like, yeah, actually. And so I think we got some cool shit coming down the pipe.
It's not even really about the business. It's about trying to get the place.
More people. Get more people out there.
That's what I meant.
Always to be able to experience exactly what this place is.
Yep.
Because once you experience it, it's like Alaska. It'll change you.
Yeah.
Yep.
It absolutely will change you.
Yep.
So we'll see. We're working on some things.
Use it for the resource that it is, and it does. It changes lives. And we saw it. We saw it firsthand. I saw it happen this week with the kids. So pretty amazing trip, man, all the way around. So it was fun. We're back. We made it 2:30 in the morning. Regroup. Yeah. Exhausted though. Ooh.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, you don't realize it because we're going and
it stays bright till 12:30 in the morning.
I got up every morning at 5:30, went in the lake, cold plunge, like just went out because it was and just sat in the sand and just sat there. It was just gorgeous, man. Like every morning. But him and I are trying to prep boats and get stuff ready before anybody gets up. Like you got to have all that stuff ready.
Gear and fishing gear,
and so
producing, and
then you're just go, and then you pass out at 12:30, 1 o'clock at night after we fillet all the fish and do all the stuff, and then it's like
it's a lot.
5 hours later you're right back up, and the kids they're not waiting for you. Like you can't say, "No, I'm gonna sleep in." Like you just go. You
gotta be ready.
So it was a lot, but man,
well worth it.
Memories are made.
Always is.
Yeah.
Mama say it's a new day, son.